Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and hopefully improve it. Before we get started, I humbly ask that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. This is going to be a series, and this channel has some other videos as well, sports related, entertainment related. We do a lot here, trying to grow the audience. We appreciate the fact that you're here right now. We ask that you continue to stay with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. If you're interested in a full, thorough breakdown of how this imperialism works, please check out the first 3 minutes or so of the 1966 video, which is linked in the description below. Otherwise, we are ready to start. Today, we're going to be tackling the 1971 season. The NFL-AFL merger is in full gear now. We got one league, 26 teams. Super Bowl VI was the first victory in the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys. It's also the breakthrough season for the Miami Dolphins, as they were able to make the Super Bowl despite only being 6 years old as a franchise. The Cowboys again, though, won that game, and in our rankings do take the number one spot. The Baltimore Colts, 1970s champions, are second. The Dolphins are the only AFC team in the top 5 at number 3. On the other hand, the bottom 5 is still littered with AFC teams, so it's going to take some time before the two conferences merge together to become a little bit more on equal footing. All that said, we're going to find out who's going to win 1971 imperialism right now. Let's give this wheel the first spin for 1971. It's going to land on the Broncos, a team in isolation. To start, they head directly east, so they're going to grab the state of Kansas, and that puts them now in direct contact with the Chiefs. This will be spin number 2. It's going to be between the Giants and the Raiders, and it's going to go to the Raiders. Arrow heads to the northwest. That's going to put them in battle with their Northern California rivals, the 49ers. The 49ers lead 28-21 in the third quarter in a back-and-forth touchdown affair. Darryl LaMonica of the Raiders forces a pass into the secondary where it's picked off by Bruce Taylor. A couple of plays later, the 49ers are inside the 20. John Brody drops back the pass, finds Dick Witcher in the end zone for the touchdown. The back-and-forth monotony breaks up here. It becomes 35-21 San Francisco, and from here they just take off. 49-21 is our final. The Raiders' defense has nothing for the Niners' offense in this one. So, Northern California goes from being split to being the complete property of the 49ers as they advance in 1971 imperialism. After our first elimination, we now will find the wheel gives us the Patriots, a likely expansion. Yep, to the northeast. They will take the state of New Hampshire. Let's give this wheel another go. We're going to get the Broncos, no longer in isolation. They go due west, so they will expand again. That's going to be into the state of Utah. Give it another try here, see if we can't get a game going. That's going to sneak past the Giants into the 49ers. They go northeast, so they will expand as well, taking Nevada for their own. We get another spin. Let's see if we can't get a game here. That is going to get past the Eagles into the Dolphins. Arrow will go northwest, so we're going to have a game. Stop me if you've heard this before. Dolphins and Falcons. This one will be in Atlanta. This game's an absolute blowout. 45-7, the Dolphins lead. Falcons just trying anything. Massive overthrow. Jake Scott with the interception. 11 tackles, 1 pick, 1 sack on the game for him. I just wanted to show you something from that game, I guess. Dolphins win 45-7. I don't think the Falcons are going to be due to win a game in imperialism anytime soon. Probably until Tampa Bay takes northern Florida in the map. But for now, that's Atlanta's area. And now they have gone back into Georgia and taken the Falcons off the map. Heading back over to the wheel, we see that our next team up might be the Dolphins again. No, it will be the Bengals. The arrow is going to go to the northeast. That's going to put them right in line with the Cleveland Browns. We will once again have the Battle of Ohio. The Bengals jump out to a 14-0 first quarter lead. They're now holding on 14-10 into fourth with this field goal attempt, and it's good. So the lead now goes to 7. Here on the ensuing kickoff, the Browns are going to try to make a game out of this, maybe send it into overtime. The return gets past the 20 to 25 yard line, and that ball is out. The Bengals recover. Might they get this in? And they're down inside the 10. They're going to turn this into another field goal attempt. Muleman barely bangs it through. The Browns score very late as time expires. The Bengals go into Cincinnati, get off the schneid, winning this game 20-16. So take a look here. For the first time in Imperialism, Ohio will belong solely to the Cincinnati Bengals. Another team down, another spin of the wheel. This is just going to stay there with the Packers. Arrow's going to take them southwest, which is going to catch the southeast corner of Minnesota. The Vikings' defense of their 2 consecutive Imperialism championships begins. We pick things up in the second quarter. The Vikings lead 14-3. They call an audible at the line, and the pitch goes out to Clint Jones. He rounds the corner, goes untouched into the end zone. The Vikings take a 21-3 lead, and it became a field goal fest the rest of the way. 27-12 is the final score. So the Packers, they're just not what they were in the 60s. They're gone. The Vikings are still alive to win 3 straight Imperialisms as they take over the Packers' land and expand their territory. Taking a look at the most recent wheel spin, we have the St. Louis Cardinals, which usually means they're playing the Chiefs. Yep, that arrow went northwest right into the Chiefs' territory. Now it's time for the Battle of Missouri. The Cardinals have had the Chiefs' number, but that seems to be changing here. In the third quarter, it's 10-3. Dawson's in the pocket for a while, gets the ball out into the end zone to Otis Taylor, shields off the defender and makes a great catch. This one here would open up the floodgates. It quickly went from 17-3 to our final score of 31-6. So the Chiefs redeemed themselves after the last couple seasons. They get into the Cardinals' territory and take over the entire state of Missouri. We've eliminated 5 teams, and we're going to look to eliminate some more with some future games. This wheel lands on the Steelers. The arrow goes to the northeast, but not northeast enough to avoid playing the Eagles. So we're going to have another intra-state matchup here. Steelers at Eagles. It's the fourth quarter, and the Steelers lead 6-3. This handoff goes to Preston Pearson. He spins around, gets into the end zone. This is the game's only touchdown. It was a bit of a snoozer, not gonna lie. The Steelers win 13-3. We're starting to see the beginnings of the Steel Curtain defense that's really gonna kick in later during this decade. So we had another battle within a single state. This was Pennsylvania. The Eagles are now out, and the Steelers, for the first time in Imperialism, own the entire state of Pennsylvania. We're running out of intrastate battles to have here, but there's still a couple of more left. That's the Oilers. Could we possibly get another one? We do. It goes northwest. It's going to be Oilers-Cowboys. State of Texas is at stake, and the Cowboys will host. After falling behind by 14 in the first quarter, Dallas leads by 3 here in the third. Lots of pre-snap action going on here. Roger Staubach facing a rush, fires at the Bob Hayes. That must be Bob Hayes' 50th touchdown scored in Imperialism. That's an exaggeration, but he's done great. Dallas lead 27-17, but Houston not to be undone here in the fourth quarter. That's quarterback Dan Pastorini. He fires to Charlie Joyner. That's a touchdown, so might the comeback trail be on? It is 27-24. Dallas is going to have the ball. It's up to Houston's defense to stop them. Handoff up to middle to Dwayne Thomas. Initial tackler misses. 2 more tacklers miss, and this is a race to the end zone. Another missed tackle. Dwayne Thomas gets away from 4 different guys, gets it into the end zone. A huge 54-yard touchdown. Dallas tacks one on at the end. And again, Houston jumped out to a 14-0 lead early, but Dallas took complete control and won this game. So the reigning Super Bowl champions and our number 1 ranked team will take over the entire state of Texas here and expand their land. There is still some opportunities for some intra-state games here. This is going to land on the Redskins, so that's going to take that out. Washington, D.C. is a federal enclave. That arrow is going east, and that's going to hit Maryland at some point, so that's going to be our game. We're going to get the Redskins at the Colts. A scoreless first quarter is going to give way to a couple of Colts touchdowns. Here is the first one. On second one, here comes on 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line. Earl Morrall drops back, drops off a pass to Tom Matte in the flat. He takes it in the rest of the way. The Colts look like they're on a little mini rampage here, have a chance to put this game away. It's 14-3 with 9 seconds to go in the half. The Colts all the way back at their 35. They're going to drop back to pass, and that did not work out. Pat Fisher intercepts it at the 36-yard line, takes it all the way into the end zone, and just like that, we have a game on a completely unnecessary play by the Colts. 14-10 at the half. It's now 14-3. Washington faces 3rd and 1 at the 39-yard line. Billy Kilmer is going to throw incomplete, and they are going to try the very long field goal. They're going to trot Kurt Knight out there. This is a 57-yard attempt. He had a great season in 71. He certainly has the leg. It's good. Oh, it didn't look like it was going to be good coming out. That wins the game. 2 second-half field goals is all Washington needs. A 16-14 upset on the field of the Baltimore Colts. The Colts were our number 2 ranked team, and they're done. The entire state of Maryland now goes into the hands of the Washington Redskins. We head back to our dear friend here, the wheel. It's going to get right past the Steelers and get the Broncos. Arrow goes southwest. We got a photo finish here. That's actually going to skid past New Mexico. The Broncos are going to take over the state of Arizona and expand their land. We give this wheel another spin, and it's going to get into the LA Rams. The arrow is going to go north. It's going to take them to the 49ers. And here in our 9th game of 1971 Imperialism, the 49ers will become the first team to take the field twice. And they probably wish they hadn't. The Rams lead 21-7 here late in the 3rd quarter. Roman Gabriel drops back, throws it out to Willie Ellison, who turns on the jets, gets around the defenders, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. That's going to make the score of this game 28-7. Nothing of note happens in the 4th quarter. The Rams will win the game by that same score. So we now have 2 teams from our top 5 eliminated from this Imperialism. The 49ers are out. The Rams will take over their territory and expand their land. Spinning the wheel here to see who our next team is. That is going to be between the Chargers and Giants. It'll just be the Giants. Arrow goes due northwest. That's going to send them into the Steelers' territory. So like the 49ers before them, the Steelers will take the field for the 2nd time. Carried by the running of Bobby Duhan and Fran Tarkenton, the Giants are down inside the 5, and it's fullback Tucker Fredrickson who finishes off the drive. This has been a low-scoring but tight game. The Giants now lead 14-10. The Steelers on the comeback trail here. The handoff goes to Preston Pearson. Breaks through the line, gets through a couple of tacklers. This is a big gain down to the 26. That's 30 yards. But now it's 4th down. The handoff goes to Warren Bankson off the bench, and he's stopped. The Steelers will get another chance, though. They're all the way back at their own 25. Terry Bradshaw waggles out left, throws, and he's intercepted by Spider Lockhart. And we've got another upset, folks. The Giants were the 2nd from bottom team in our rankings. They go into Pittsburgh and win this game 14-10. So the Giants are going to go in and get Pittsburgh's territory here. That's the entire state of Pennsylvania. They expand their land and they look like a much bigger presence on this map. We've now eliminated 10 teams. Next up on the wheel will be the Dolphins. This is a guaranteed expansion. They go slightly northwest. That's a bit of a photo finish there. It just clips the western corner of South Carolina. Almost got into North Carolina, but the expansion will go into South Carolina. Sure did say Carolina a lot there. Let's take a look at this next spin of the wheel. It's going to be the New York Giants. Arrowhead's southwest. Another photo finish here. Look at that. That is going to clip the top of West Virginia there. That little needle that sticks up out from the state. So the Giants will expand into that state and make their territory just a bit bigger. Back-to-back photo finishes, a first in Imperialism. Next up are the Cincinnati Bengals. The arrow goes northwest, no such need for a photo finish here. The Bengals go to the Lions. The Bengals will now try to be the first team to win twice in 1971. Tied at 14 in the fourth quarter, the Lions have a 4th and inches. They're going to go for it. The pitch goes to Mel Renfro off the bench for the injured Alty Taylor. Can't get it done. The Bengals attempting to take advantage. Take it down to the 45-yard line. Virgil Carter lofts it up. That is a leaping touchdown catch. Receiver Chip Myers climbs the ladder. The Bengals climb the ladder. Down 14-0. They win the game 28-14. They indeed become the first team to win twice in this season's Imperialism. So the state of Michigan no longer belongs to the Detroit Lions. It is now property of the Cincinnati Bengals as they continue to grow their land. A quick mini expansion round here. Wheel chooses the Dolphins. Arrow will go west into the state of Alabama. Next up are the Redskins. Arrow will go east. They take Delaware. Now the wheel selects the Cowboys. The arrow is going to go to the northwest. They will grab New Mexico. And another spin here. It's a close call. It will stay with the Bills. The arrow will take them south. That's now going to give us a game. The Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants. In the fourth quarter, the Bills face 3rd and 19. They lead by 1. Dennis Shaw drops back, fires at the Haven Moses, and he makes the catch in double coverage, 37 yards. Next play. The Bills are in a better spot now, but they're ready to rip again. This time to Marlon Briscoe. He gets it all the way down inside the 10. It's going to be 1st and goal. Now on 3rd and goal. The Giants drop the defense back expecting a pass, and the Bills do pass. And that goes out into the flat for the touchdown. Fullback Wayne Patrick providing the outlet. That will extend the Bills' lead. They actually entered the fourth quarter trailing, score twice, win the game 28-20. Road teams keep winning here in Imperialism 1971. Looking here at the map now, the Bills are going to sweep up a decent amount of land here, taking over everything the Giants have picked up, and the Bills now look like the big figure in the Northeast. We're going right back to the wheel, and it is going to once again select the Buffalo Bills. Which direction will they go? They're going to go west. That's going to go right into the Bengals territory. Bills-Bengals is a nice little modern rivalry, but today they're going to play back in 1971. In the fourth quarter, the Bengals lead 24-10, looking to put the game away. Play action, Speedy Thomas on the crosser, makes the catch in front of a defender, gets around another one into the end zone. What a great play there, 23 yards for the touchdown. The Bengals handle their business with a bit of ease, 31-10, breaking the streak of road victories here in Imperialism. So now the Bengals, having come into 1971 Imperialism without a single victory, now they have 3. They take Buffalo off the map. They have announced their presence, and they can easily be there in the end. We've now eliminated one half of the 26 teams in the league. The wheel here is just barely going to get into the Minnesota Vikings. Arrow takes them to the southwest. Nobody there to play. That's going to be the state of Iowa. Minnesota will expand into there and increase their land. We give this another spin, and we find the New Orleans Saints being called up for the first time. Arrow's going to go to the northeast. That's going to be an expansion into the state of Mississippi. We spin the wheel one more time in the hopes of finding a game. It is going back to the New Orleans Saints. The arrow's going to head slightly to the northwest, but not far enough to avoid the Cowboys. That's going to be our next game, New Orleans at Dallas. And this was pretty much all Dallas from the jump. They lead 27-7 in the fourth quarter. The draw play goes to Dwayne Thomas. Spins around, dives into the end zone for the touchdown. All that does is increase their lead to 34-7. That right there is going to be our final score. The Cowboys handled their business no problem. The number 1 seed and reigning Super Bowl champions take over New Orleans land and expand their territory. As we continue whittling down these teams, we give the wheel a spin. It lands on the Dolphins. Not the first time Miami's been selected. Arrow goes to the northeast. They remain only connected to the Cowboys right now, as they're going to claim North Carolina and stay away from every other team. Take 2 on this round. The wheel's going to slow down before it hits the Redskins. That's going to be the Chiefs. The arrow is going to head to the northwest. That's actually just going to hit the southwest corner of the Vikings territory. We're getting a rematch of Super Bowl IV. The Chiefs at the Vikings. Despite a lot of action, this game remains low scoring. The Chiefs lead 9-3. The Vikings are stuffed on a 3rd and 1 here. They're going to go ahead and kick the field goal. Try to make it a 3-point game. They're going to bring out Fred Cox. This will be 26 yards. The rush comes in. He gets it away, though. It's 9-6 Chiefs. The Vikings kick it away on 2nd and 1. The draw play goes to Ed Podolak. He gets away from the lineman, gets the first down. There's still time left, though. The Vikings are able to force a 3rd down, 3rd and 13. Here's the handoff, and that's immediately blown up. The Vikings get the ball back, only get a couple yards on 4th and 8. The rush comes in. The pass goes to Al Denson. Can he outrun the defense? No, he goes down. In for the injured Gene Washington. Chiefs win 9-6, but don't get it twisted. This game had offense. There were just a lot of field goal attempts. The defense tightened up when they needed to with some timely sacks. Close, exciting, but at the end the Chiefs win, and that will end the Vikings' reign in imperialism. 1969 and 1970 champions are out. The Kansas City Chiefs take over the Vikings' territory, and they are certainly a threat to win this. We're going to have a mini expansion session here. The wheel's going to land on the Cowboys. Arrow's going to take them northeast. That is going to hit Arkansas, so Cowboys will expand their land. The wheel will now give us, not the Cowboys again, but the Dolphins. The arrow's going to head to the northeast, so they continue going up the Atlantic. They grab the state of Virginia. One more time here with the wheel. It's going to squeeze past the Patriots, hit the Bears, first time they've called up. That's going east, so they're going to expand into the open state of Indiana. One more spin of the wheel. It's going to go into the Jets. The arrow is going to take them slightly southwest. If it was directly west, that might have hit the Bengals, but they're going to actually go ahead, go into Washington and take on the Redskins. Well, maybe take on was a stretch. The Redskins are dominating the game. It's 17-7 in the second half. That's fullback Charlie Haraway breaking through for a 5-yard touchdown. This makes it 24-7. The Jets were never really a threat in this one. Washington tacked on a few more. 34-7 was your final score. So the Jets finally come up here in Imperialism and immediately go out. Washington takes over with Southern New Jersey, and now every team has been called up for something except the Chargers. We're down to the final 10 teams here in 1971. The wheel will select the Denver Broncos. All they've done is expand, and this photo finish here tells us that they're going to expand again. That arrow has just the right angle to avoid the Cowboys' territory. The state of Oklahoma is up for grabs, and the Broncos are happy to take it. We're going to try the wheel one more time, and it's going to be the Broncos again. No, it's going to sneak into the Chiefs. The arrow goes slightly southeast. If that was a little bit more to the east, that would have hit the Bears' territory. But as is, the Chiefs are going to face their biggest test to date. They're going to travel to Dallas to face the Cowboys. The Chiefs' defense is for real. They've held the Cowboys to just 7 points through 3 quarters. They lead 16-7. They get the ball down to the inches line, basically. The handoff goes to Warren McVay. He gets into the end zone for the touchdown. They're doing this in Dallas, by the way. The champions, the number 1 ranked team. They add on another one. They win 30-7. Emphatic victory. And with that victory, the Chiefs kind of return home. Many may recall they started off as the Dallas Texans. They now own that land and all the other land they've accumulated to this point, and the Chiefs are for real. We continue to roll along here, or maybe spin along here. The arrow hits the Chargers. They're called up for the first time. They're going to have to play somebody. It's going northwest, so they're going to play the Rams to see who wants to take over California and Nevada. The Rams never could get out of starting blocks in this one. They back their defense up here. They're only down 14-9. John Hadle throws to Gary Garrison. He outruns the defense, breaks the plane of the end zone. That's going to go down as a touchdown of 33 yards. The Rams couldn't get it going. Field goal central. Each team scored 3 times, but the Chargers made their scores touchdowns. A 21-9 upset victory in Los Angeles. So now, looking at this map, the Chargers are going to replace the Rams. Moreover, of the 8 teams remaining, none of them have won Imperialism to this point, so we're guaranteed a first-time winner. Of the 8 teams remaining, 3 have yet to see the field. That does not include the Chiefs. They've seen the field plenty. The arrow is going to take them to the northwest, a little bit of a photo finish here. That's actually going to bypass not only the Broncos' territory and Nebraska, but it's going to grab South Dakota. So the Chiefs will take that state and expand their land. There goes the wheel again, and we're going to get a very close call between the Chiefs and the Dolphins. It's just going to be the Dolphins. The arrow is going to go southwest. Also close, but it's more west than south. So the Dolphins are going to travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. The Dolphins take a 14-7 first quarter lead, which they're still holding on to here in the fourth. Len Dawson throws to Otis Taylor, who turns on the Jets, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. After 2+ quarters of no scoring, the Chiefs tied us up at 14. Dolphins have it now, 3rd down from the 45. Important play. Bob Greasy drops back, throws to Paul Warfield, 3 people around him. Who cares? He makes the catch. It's 3rd down again. Greasy might be looking for Warfield. Here comes the rush. He throws it up to him, and Jim Kearney makes the interception on the shadow of his goal line. Wow, might the Chiefs have time to get at least a field goal here? They do have Jan Stenerud, an all-time great kicker. The Dolphins bring the defense up, and it's play action. Dawson throws to Taylor on a diving catch, gets away from a tackler. They're holding him up here, and they're able to get him down. This is field goal range. That was 42 yards. Very next play, Dawson throws to Taylor again. Man, if they had done this all game, they would have only had 7 points going into the fourth. But the Chiefs make the great comeback in the fourth quarter, win the game 21-14. That looked a little shaky, but they got it done, and we can probably unequivocally say that the Chiefs are favorites to win this thing. Especially now looking at the map, the Dolphins have a nice chunk of land. All of it's getting transferred over to the Chiefs. And yep, like we said, they are in control of their own destiny at this point. These wheel wedges keep on growing in size. This time it's going to stop short of the Bears and hit the Patriots. And they're going to go down to the southeast. That's the biggest expansion of all, right? That is the state of Rhode Island. The Patriots do get bigger. We'll try the wheel again. It's going to land on the Broncos. Can they actually play a game? All they've done is expand. They're going to expand again. That's Northwest. That's the state of Wyoming. And the Broncos keep growing their land without having to play. We've had back-to-back expansions. We're now going to get, that is going to sneak past the Bears into the Chiefs. Arrow goes northeast. We need a little photo finish there. The wheel may have avoided the Bears, but the Chiefs did not. Instead, they avoid Tennessee and Kentucky and go right into the Bears' land. That's going to be our next game. The Chiefs march down the field on the game's opening drive. Here from the 23-yard line, Len Dawson drops back. I wonder who he's looking for. Yep, that's Otis Taylor. That's him being covered, and that's him still making the touchdown catch. This made it 7-0. These were the winning points of the game. 31-0 was your final. Chiefs took the fourth quarter off. They didn't need it. So, again, this is your team to beat. But the interesting note here is that the Bears are eliminated. The Chiefs take their land. And now the Washington Redskins are the only NFC and the only original NFL team still remaining in this imperialism. Might it be the AFL/AFC's time to finally shine? We are now down to 6 teams. The wheel will select the Redskins. The arrow is going to take them to the northeast. That's actually going to hit the Bengals territory, be it northern New Jersey or Long Island. So the Bengals have had a great run now, but they've got an important game, a tough challenge, hosting the Redskins. The Bengals trail 17-7 in the third, looking to get into scoring position. The rush comes, Verlon Biggs strip sacks Virgil Carter. The Redskins get the ball. A few plays later, they're in the I formation. The handoff goes to Larry Brown. The defense converges, but Brown gets around everybody and is able to get into the end zone for the touchdown. The Bengals did well to get as far as they did here in Imperialism, but they fall behind 24-7 here. They lose 38-14. They did great. They've got further than anyone could have expected. But now the Redskins might be the team that stands up to challenge the Chiefs. By taking Cincinnati's land here, they become much more prominent on the map. And again, as the only NFC representative left, you know they're going to go out there and try to represent. We are 4 games away from crowning a 1971 Imperialism champion. The wheel goes to the Patriots, the arrow goes southwest. That's going to be another expansion into the state of Connecticut, but they're finally now a little bit more open to the rest of the map. We give the wheel another go. It's going to land on the Chargers. Arrow's going to take them to the northwest. That's going to hit Oregon before it hits the Pacific Ocean. So the Chargers take the state and expand their land. Maybe the third time will be the charm here. The wheel's going to land on the Patriots, and the arrow is going to take them to the southwest. No more hiding now. That is clearly going into the Redskins' territory. So the Patriots must take the field. The Redskins are going to settle for a field goal attempt on their first drive, except Billy Kilmer stands up, fires it to Roy Jefferson, makes the catch at the 5-yard line. Very next play, fullback Charlie Haraway is going to get the handoff here, and he has become a red zone merchant. He's not getting a lot of yards, but he's getting the touchdowns. Washington takes the 7-0 lead. It's a lead they would never relinquish. It's a game they had complete control of. 38-10 was the final. The Patriots, did what they could. This was their first year as the New England Patriots, by the way. So, looking at the map here, it's not a big pickup. But you eagle-eyes out there might recognize that I've now given the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to the Redskins. I had failed to do so earlier on. We've reached the Final Four. The wheel is going to land on the Redskins. Not a whole lot of places to expand to, but going southwest does provide that opportunity. the Redskins will take the state of Kentucky. Trying the wheel one more time is going to give us the San Diego Chargers. Arrow's going to take them to the southeast, but that's going straight into Denver's territory. So like the Patriots before them, the Broncos can no longer hide. They now have to play a game, but they get to host the Chargers. The Chargers have been sloppy with the ball, and the Broncos have taken advantage. They lead 14-6 in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Steve Ramsey calls an audible at the line. He sends Jack Gerke into the end zone. The pass is there. He leaps up and makes the catch for the touchdown. Even though this game is in Denver, it's a bit of an upset. The Broncos are win 28-14. Their first ever win in Imperialism, and it takes them to the final three. They take over the Chargers' land in the West Coast, and are now possibly one game away from a championship showdown. Minus an expansion, 2 teams will play, 1 team will advance. The wheel lands on the Redskins. The arrow's going to go straight south. Because it's straight south, it will avoid Tennessee and hit the Chiefs' territory. The Broncos, who have won 1 game in Imperialism in 6 years, are going to play for the championship in 1971. Their opponents will be either the Redskins or the Chiefs. That game is going to be in Kansas City, and it is next. Redskins lead 7-0 in the second quarter, looking to extend that lead. The handoff goes to Larry Brown up the middle, gets around the defender. Does he have the speed? Well, he's caught from behind at the 14. A few plays later, they're down at the 3. It's 1st and goal. The handoff goes to Brown again around the right side. He gets in for the touchdown. Kansas City might be in trouble here. It's going to be 14-0. They're going to get the ball back with a chance to score before halftime. There's not a lot of time left. Len Dawson faces the rush, gets it to Old Reliable. That is Otis Taylor. Gets down to the 20-yard line. The next play was a sack. The handoff here is going to go to Wendell Hayes. He gets through the middle. He looks like he's wrapped up, but he breaks the tackle. Gets around another defender and gets into the end zone. That is so important. The Chiefs scoring before the half, hopefully for themselves, giving them some momentum. 14-7 at the half. Later, Washington leads 17-7. Jan Stenerud coming out for the field goal. One of the all-time great kickers. This is 45 yards to get it within 7. He missed, and Kansas City, quite frankly, couldn't recover. Washington drives it down inside the 1. Larry Brown plunges in for the touchdown. There's still time for the Chiefs to maybe make a comeback, but it seems like their offense just got stymied from here on out. 24-7 was the final score. Washington goes into Kansas City, who wins that game, knocks out the Chiefs, and now we have our championship game. Not one anybody may have expected. Both teams coming from outside the top 5. The Broncos in 1971 only won 4 games in real life, but they only needed to win 1 here, and they only need to win 1 more in order to be the champions. Can Washington carry the torch for the NFC in the old NFL, or will Denver be the one to break through for the former upstart league? We're going to spin this wheel to find out where this game's going to be played, and then we're going to play it. And here is that spin. It landed on the Broncos. That means they're doing the invading. Washington will get to host this game. Redskins, Broncos, 1971 Imperialism at stake. The Broncos exchanged touchdowns with the Redskins in the first half and were tied at 14, but it fell apart after that. Here is just the ending of all that. That is intercepted by Pat Fisher. He runs it all the way back in for the touchdown. It was 41-14 before that interception. It is now 48-14. I wish for the Broncos' sake I could say that was it, but with a minute left, they're trying something again. Steve Ramsey just kind of chucks it, and it's intercepted by Brig Owens. Credit to Ramsey for trying to make that tackle. It didn't work out, and Brig Owens takes it down the sideline. This was it for the Broncos. Nothing else happened after this that resulted in points anyway. What an ugly game this turned out to be. It was close. It was 14-14, 20-14 at the half. Washington scored 35 points in the second half, win the game 55-14. And after a 2-year reign by Minnesota, the Washington Redskins now own the United States, and the country has turned a shade of burgundy. Looking back now at the real-life results from 1971, the Cowboys and the Dolphins faced off in the Super Bowl that year. Neither were able to get to the dance in Imperialism. Instead, we had a Super Bowl 22 rematch, which was 16 years down the line. The Washington Redskins and Denver Broncos. And like the Broncos did in those Super Bowls during the 80s, they got beat up pretty bad. The Washington Redskins do take the 1971 Imperialism 6 championship. Looking now at this Redskins roster, we see they have an extremely balanced offense. Larry Brown at running back, Charlie Taylor, Roy Jefferson leading the receiver crew, and it's not exactly the Hogs offensive line, but Len Haas does lead a great group. On defense, looking at that D-line, McDowell, Talbert, Sistrunk, and Biggs, they're all veteran imports from other teams. Chris Hamburger is the guy who's been there with the Redskins his whole career. That secondary, we saw what Pat Fisher and Brig Owens were able to do in the championship game. Looking back now at some of the scores from this year's Imperialism, we see a lot of close games. We didn't have an overtime game, but there were some close games, and of course there were some blowouts too. That championship game victory by the Redskins, 55 points, 41-point margin, both records, and both might be tough to beat going forward. As the champions, the Redskins did lead the way with 6 victories in 1971. The Chiefs were able to pull off 5. They were looking like the favorite with about 10 to 12 teams to go. And the Bengals, who had never won a game before this season, get 3 under their belt and finish 3rd. The Cowboys regained their place at the top of the overall standings with 14 victories. The Vikings slipped down to 2nd with 13, and the Redskins power themselves all the way to 3rd with their 11 total wins now. The Packers are entering kind of a dark period for their franchise. They come down to 4th, tied with the Rams. Taking a look at the other end of things, only the Atlanta Falcons have yet to win a game, and they've only ever played one opponent, and that opponent, the Miami Dolphins, is about to get real good. I'd like to take a moment here, if I can, to thank everybody for getting this far in the video. If you haven't already, we ask that you please give it a like. Go ahead and share it with as many people as you can. Hit that subscribe button for us if you would. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. Imperialism is part of what we do, but this is our major series, and in the next few days we will be releasing 1972. If you are watching this at some point in the future, then we have every completed Imperialism video linked down in the description below. Before we wrap things up, we want to take one last look at the United States of Washington, D.C. The Redskins did win 1971 Imperialism and will look to repeat next season, but there's quite a lot of competition coming around the bend. For CCC Productions, we thank you once again for checking us out. We hope you have an awesome day.